All right, Shalom. Shalom, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakapadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit of Rakapadash. All right. Check this feed, make sure we're good to go. Bear with me. All right, we good. We're good to go. All right. So yeah, I want to get into this quick lesson here. Just thinking out loud in the spirit. All right. The vision is being made clear. We are at the end. All right. And it's amazing how the Lord has given us this understanding, this vision, all right, that allows us to see the end times, what's about to happen. All right. These things that have been ordained by the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. Real quick before we get into the lesson. All right, just making a point. Proverbs 29:18, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he, right? So again, where there is no vision, the people perish, all right? And the majority of our people, all right, they can't identify the signs, all right? They can't see where we are in prophecy, man. And that's the advantage that I like to talk about. That's the advantage that we have, the Lord endowing us the Holy Spirit, this gift that he's given us to see this thing, man. All right, as it is written. All right. Isaiah 34:16, it says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, the scriptures. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and read. No one of these shall fail, meaning the prophecies. Okay. No one of these shall fail, none shall want to mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit that have gathered them. All right, them going into the elect, man. We've been gathered through the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash, into this understanding, man, which enables us to see again this vision. Okay, because everything is leading to the demise of Babylon the Great, which is America, according to the Holy Scriptures, man. All right, so hey, we're actually watching prophecy play out, man. A wonderful time to be alive, to have this understanding. All right, to have this gift again, to not take it for granted. All right, but to utilize again the talents, all right, that the Lord has given us to push the word, to edify the flock. Okay, because all these things, again, as I constantly repeat, are at the door. All right, and we know before the end all be all happens, all right, which is going to be that nuclear destruction. All right, we know that CHIP has to be mandated worldwide. It has to be pushed. Okay, and that's what I want to get into. Just making a point here. Let's pull it up. All right, this is from this is Salakia. This is from the Next News Network. It says the headline here, it says Mark of the Beast confirmed. Can't buy food without Genius Act chip. It says Revelation 13 is now. All right. So again, the point, the vision is being made clear and everybody's talking about it. Okay. And why is that? This is Romans chapter 10 and verse 14. Romans 10 and 14, it says, how then should they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how should they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how should they hear without a preacher? All right, going back to the prophets, as the Lord told us in was it Jeremiah? Let me pull that up. Jeremiah 3 and 15. All right. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15, it says, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. That once again, the Lord has given us the true prophets, man, the true pastors, starting with the apostles, man, the leadership, the elders, the bishops that have given us the understanding through the Spirit. Okay, this is why, again, these prophecies are being made plain. All right. Verse 10, Romans 10 and 15. It says, and how should they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. All right. Well, again, going back to the prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right. Verse 16, but they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah saith, Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, who have believed our report? Right. Who's listening? Who's really taking heed to what's being said, what's being broken down? Okay. It says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right. Verse 18, it says the point, Romans 10 and 18, but I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. So everybody's hearing this word, man. All right, whether they're acknowledging it or not. Okay, the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which is manifest through his prophets, are being heard all over the earth. All right, it says, yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth. And how did that happen? Through the World Wide Web, man. The unicorn, which was set up for the Lord's purpose to magnify his word, his name, the prophecies, the understanding. Okay, and their words unto the ends of the world. See that? So there's no denying this thing. And this is how you know, again, that's an indicator that we're at the end of this world. All right. Matthew 24. Just pull that up. All right. This is Matthew 24 and verse 14. The point, it says, in this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. You see that? So this word undoubtedly has gone out, man. Okay. The understanding has been brought back through the prophets, man. This is why people are opening up the scriptures. This is why people are talking about the mark of the beast, the microchip, the AI infrastructure. Okay, this Genius Act, which we're going to get into. Everybody's talking about in detail of these end time prophecies, man. Okay, so these things can no longer be ignored, man. All right, so let's just get into it. All right. Matter of fact, I got one more before we open it up. All right. Because the word is being made plain. Like I said, he that runneth may read it. Let me get that. Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. It's not the prophecy speaking heavily right now. Okay. And not lie, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, man. Prophecy is whooping ass. You know, it says, that's the point. So yeah, so let's go back. There's no getting around this thing, man. Right? Let's pull the video up here. All right. Here we go.
After him, the Genius Act. Trump says it's freedom, but you got to read the fine print. Dollar stable coins have federal approval, but who controls the dollars? Who tracks the transactions? They promise no central bank digital currency while creating the infrastructure for one. Gary Gensler is gone, but who replaces him? Another swamp creature? The same government that weaponized the IRS, the FBI, and DOJ now wants to regulate your crypto. You see, they call it protection, but history calls it control. Every financial innovation starts with promise of liberty and ends with chains. Is this really crypto freedom, or are we watching digital enslavement get a MAGA makeover? The devil is in the details, so keep watching. While politicians promise crypto freedom through new regulations, remember that true wealth protection comes from assets government cannot control digitally. As we navigate uncertain financial futures where every transaction could be tracked, physical assets matter more than ever. That's why I trust Ageless Malt Collagen, a real, tangible investment in your health that no algorithm can devalue. 5 collagen types from 4 premium sources, providing real results you can see and feel. No digital intermediaries, no blockchain required, just pure health benefits. Get 51% off at healthwithgary.com because while they debate digital currencies, your body needs real physical support today. Healthwithgary.com. All right, so I posted this just before we went live. This act, is it a Trojan horse for financial control? The Genius Act may claim to boost crypto, but it arms the state with real-time spending, surveillance, programmable controls, and centralized control over stablecoins. While we support crypto and applaud real Trump for opposing a Fed-issued CBDC, this bill falls short, risking privacy, financial freedom, placing all transaction data at government mercy. We need true decentralization and constitutional safeguards, not programmable money. So what is actually in the bill? It establishes a federal framework for payment stablecoins requiring one-to-one fiat backing, monthly reserve disclosures, and audits for large issuers. It aims to regulate issuers, banks, and non-banks, defining stablecoins distinctly from securities or commodities. The risks under the surface enables programmable digital money, transaction filters, blocks, reversals, expiration clauses, all potentially enforceable in real time by regulators. Creates a centralized ledger exposing complete transaction histories to government oversight. Now, what are the positives? Now, Trump's signing shows a continued push for private crypto innovation and explicitly rejects a Fed-issued CBDC for now. Provides regulatory clarity, backing for on-chain dollars, and aligns with crypto-friendly policy under Trump, according to Vanity Fair. The bottom line, the Genius Act is a step forward, but it's not the full embrace of decentralization that we need. Guardrails on stablecoins are great, but without privacy protections and constitutional limits, programmable money could morph into a digital leash. So let's champion crypto's promise.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Programmable money will be used as a digital leash, as he said. All right. I was thinking about that in Habakkuk as well, back in that same chapter. Right. So back in Habakkuk 2 and 4, it says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." All right. And Esau is his soul is not upright. He's the wicked. All right. The point, it says, Habakkuk 2 and 5, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell and as death. And that's pretty much this system that he's trying to establish. All right. This is literally going to be hell on earth. Okay. Where everything is digitally controlled and monitored and tracked by his mean. Right. It says, who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied. All right. He wants the world. He wants everybody's souls, man. Okay. He can't be satisfied until he has the whole planet Earth and the people in it. You know, it says, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. He's going to do that through this system here. Right. Now, I wanted to see what this says in the chat GPT. Let's pull it up and we'll go back to the video real quick. Let me see. Let me pull it in. Give me 1 second. Okay, it says it's given to me in another language. Hold on. That's crazy. Give me 1 second. Let's see if it'll pull up. Why is it giving it to me in another language? That's crazy. It's putting it up in German. Let me try one more link. We'll get back to the video. I don't know why it's doing that. That's crazy. Let me go to another link here. Let's see what we get. All right, so it says, I'm not able to share the screen on it, but I'll just read it real quick. It says here on the chat GPT, it says, number 4, it says, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. It says reflects the imperialistic or global dominance, right? Conquering and absorbing nations and people. And this is how he's going to do that, all right? By the means of this chip, okay? It says this, it says it could be interpreted as world powers, empires, and even global systems that dominate politically, economically, and culturally. See? And that's this system that's coming to pass, this technocracy. All right. This digital enslavement that he was talking about, man. Right. So let's go back. Right. Just to tie that in.
Not a state-controlled version of it. Let's dive deeper into this, shall we? Peter Ryan writes, this Genius Act paves the way for fully operational surveillance and control apparatus where governments can see, freeze, seize, and control people's funds. It will allow for the circulation of a centralized digital ledger, tokens, not decentralized cryptocurrencies. It's stated right there in the act. The bill's heinous contents would be utterly myopic. Now check this out. This is crazy. A convicted money launderer helped write the code for Trump's stablecoin. The UAE poured $2 billion into it, and Trump walked away with $30 million. Representative Kasten warns the Genius Act doesn't just greenlight corruption, it invites a crisis. Now, this is a Democrat, but we should still listen.
Seeking a presidential, we know that recently a convicted money launderer wrote the code so that the United Arab Emirates could buy $2 billion of Trump's stablecoin, which allowed President Trump to earn $30 million on the transaction. Now this convicted felon...
Gentleman's time's expired.
To the gentleman,
and I should clarify here, the convicted felon I'm referring to is the guy for insider trading.
Time's expired.
An additional 15 seconds to the gentleman.
The convicted felon I'm referring to is the guy who ran Binance, not the president, but he's seeking a presidential pardon. So the Genius Act sets the stage for this financial crisis and allows the president to continue cheapening the office for his own financial gain, and I urge a strong no. We know that...
Wow. Maxine Waters was all over that, wasn't she? Here we have Marjorie Taylor Greene's warning. We played it yesterday, but it bears repeating. Matt Morrill writes, beware crypto investors. The Senate and House are passing the Genius Act, but leaving out one huge provision. The provision not included gives people the ability to maintain. The provision not included gives people the ability to maintain self-custody of their digital assets. They're trying to take custody of your investments. Isn't that one reason crypto is so attractive? Let's listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And the Genius Act has already passed the Senate. President Trump is urging us in the House to pass this bill. He's posted it on Truth Social. Leadership is urging us to pass this bill, but I just want to give you a brief description in the bill. There's two things that are in his executive order that are not in the Genius Act. One of them is giving people the ability to maintain self-custody of digital assets. That's incredibly important to people that own cryptocurrency, stable coins. And then the second thing that is not in the Genius Act, but is in his executive order.
Real quick, I put this in as well. I want to just read this out loud. All right, just to see if it would give me something. So basically, I put in, how a cyber attack could crash the banking system and usher in the mark of the beast, chip digital payments. All right, this is what I got here. All right, as you see, it says this content may violate our uses policies, but it still gave me an answer anyway. All right. So it says the idea that a cyber attack could crash banking systems and lead to the implementation of the mark of the beast chip, often referring to a biblical prophecy from Revelation 13, is a mix of real cybersecurity risk and speculative or religious interpretations. Let's break this down into three components: cybersecurity risk, digital payment evolution, and the mark of the beast prophecy connections. Number one, cyber attacks on banking systems, real and possible. All right, this is what AI is saying. We all know this. But we know that these cyber attacks on these banking systems are very real, all right? And they've been putting this out there that this could happen. Remember, they were doing tests a year or so ago, right? Remember, they had shut down the airports and the hospitals and banks for like a day or a few hours. I forgot how long it was. People were bugging out, right? But it says cyber attacks against banks and financial institutions do happen. Ransomware attacks, hackers encrypt systems and demand payment. It says DDoS attacks overwhelm banking websites and take them offline. Data breaches steal customer data, including banking information. All right. And it gives us examples of what happened. Right. It says, however, crashing the entire global banking system would be extremely difficult due to decentralization, different systems, countries, and networks, redundancy and backup, cybersecurity teams constantly monitoring threats, right? But what they've been saying is that these hackers from other nations, you know, are pretty much on a level, all right? You know, so anything can happen, right? Number two, digital payments and microchips are already emerging as we see. Digital payment systems are evolving. The microchip technology already exists in limited ways. Biometric payments, face and fingerprint recognition. All right. I forgot the name of it, but you know, about, you know, scanning the eye. It was a name. I can't think of it right now. It says implantable chips used in Sweden. Some trials in the US and Europe, as we see with Elon Musk in the Neuralink. All right. Apple just dropped a chip too. All right. So we're already here. It says CBDCs are in development by many countries, but none of these technologies are currently required globally or associated with force compliant. Yeah, but see, not yet. Okay. Revelation 13. Let me just get that real quick, because that's the key point, as it said. But none of these technologies are currently required globally or associated with force compliance, right? This is Revelation 13. Let's go there real quick, because this is the key word right here. Revelation 13 in verse 16, it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That's the charagma, that's the chip, right? But the word here is what? Cause of all, right?
Strong's G 4160, poieo,
right? And it says here, the point under number 7, right here, it says to make, i.e., constitute or appoint one, anything to appoint or ordain one that. To constitute something is to ordain, to make into law. You see? So he's going to make this eventually law, that everybody, you know, bow and get this this device. All right. So what ChatGPT is saying is not happening yet, but it's getting ready to. All right. That's gonna bring in Revelation was it 2 and 10 or 3 and 10? Right? Just thinking out loud. All right. Revelation 3 and 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. All right. When that chip is put into law, when it's mandated. All right. Where you can't do, where basically life stops. All right. Until you get that chip. Okay. When it's made law, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. See that? So it's coming. Okay. Eventually, it's going to be required globally. All right. And associated with force compliance. Right. Let's finish it out. We'll go back to the video here. It says number 3. It says mark of the beast, interpretations and concerns. The mark of the beast, Revelation 13, 16, and 17, is interpreted by many Christians as a symbol of allegiance to an anti-God system, often tied to end-time prophecy. Right? Some link this to mandatory digital IDs or payment systems, implantable chips for buying and selling, loss of privacy or religious freedom. All that's tied into this thing, man. It says these concerns are spiritually and ideologically based, not provable or disprovable by technical means. Governments and companies implementing digital payment systems generally frame them as convenience or efficiency tools, not ideological control. And that's what they're going to do, right? That's why the Lord, let's get that real quick. That's what the Lord said, be not deceived, right? Let me go to, was it Matthew 24 and 4? All right. Matthew 24, verse 4 says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many should come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and should deceive many. So many, you got guys like, Elon Musk, all right, Bill Gates, okay, these technocrats, all right. They're viewed as as gods, as saviors, man. Okay, so of course they're gonna push this as a form of convenience, but it's ultimately a snare. This is why the Lord said, be not deceived. That's exactly how it's going to go down. Right? It says, we'll finish it out here. Yeah, we'll just read that because this is pretty good. Conclusion. Cyber attacks are a real growing risk for banking systems. A global collapse of banking to force digital implants is highly unlikely. Though not impossible in the speculative future. You see that? You see how it goes back and forth? It says implantable chips in digital payments exist, but there is no current global mandate or evidence of a hidden agenda like the mark of the beast. Right? But we know better, right? We have the understanding. It says concerns about this are often rooted and faith-based or philosophical worldviews, which are valid to explore, but to be distinguished from factual cybersecurity or economic trends. You see that? So again, it gives you a little bit of truth, but mixed with some bullshit, right? But that's why it's key to have the overall understanding. All right, the spirit. All right, so let's go back. That was pretty good, man. All right.
Incredibly important to people that own cryptocurrency, stable coins. And then the second thing that is not in the Genius Act, but is in his executive order, is a complete prohibition, a ban, central bank digital currency in the United States and abroad. And so here's the problem with the Genius Act. They didn't give us a chance to introduce amendments. The House leadership did not allow us to do that.
Trump needs us to raise the alarm.
That's right, Alex. They do. They run articles against us. They have paid influencers that post against us. And the Genius Act has already passed the Senate.
So what did President Trump say? It did pass today. This morning, President Trump signed it into law. Let's check in with Allison. She is Allison Steinberg. She is one of the reporters at Lindell TV. Let's get the Lindell TV take.
Name of the beast. Revelation 13, verse 16 through 17 says, it also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name.
Man, everybody talking about the thing, man. Everybody's talking about it, man. The vision is being made clear. We are at the end, y'all. Man, what's up with these camps? Right? Man, that's wild right there. Go ahead.
What happens when the government can freeze your bank account without even charging you with a crime?
President Trump an executive order on January 23rd, and specifically on exactly what it was about, except they did not include what was in his executive order, which is a ban on a central bank digital currency.
The Genius Act creates a government-regulated digital dollar called a. Many are argue is a central bank currency would likely replace all physical cash. And under the Genius Act, your digital wallet could be frozen if you violate any federal or state regulation.
Bear with me 1 second. Let me play that back. 1 second. I think I was freezing a little bit. Hold on. We'll play it back.
Which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. What happens when the government can freeze your bank account without even charged with a crime?
President Trump wrote an executive order on January 23rd, and specifically on exactly what the Genius is about, except they did not include what was in his executive order, which is a ban on a central bank digital currency.
The Genius Act creates a government digital dollar called a stablecoin that you as a central bank digital currency in disguise. Stablecoins would likely replace all physical cash. And under the Genius Act, your digital wallet could be frozen if you violate federal regulation if it was never passed by Congress. Remember the COVID vaccine mandates? The administration enforced them not through Congress, but through an executive order. Millions were fired. Now imagine being locked out of using a future mandate. Over in Australia, people were detained in quarantine camps. In America, the soft power version would be freezing your finances and calling it public. The White House maintains that the Genius Act will not usher in a CBDC.
This piece of legislation is going to make America the crypto capital of the world, and that's what the president promised. As for essential digital, the president opposes that. He made that promise to people on the campaign.
I'm also making a promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of central bank digital currency.
Even though President Trump signed an executive order back in January banning CBDCs, the Genius Act lets big banks create private sector versions, still programmable and still controlled.
And if you look at what they're doing with the Genius Act and stablecoin, he said CBDCs, the guys who own the New York Fed are all going to create subsidiaries and issue stablecoin, which will be with a social credit system.
Social credit system. We talked about that. I did plenty of lessons going into that, man. That's all part of the different components of this beast system. All right. We're gonna prophesy this until we blue in the face, man. All right, until you Jakes out there get it. Okay. A lot of these Jakes in these camps that claim they don't see it and they claim it to be everything otherwise than what it is. All right, a lot of them are compromised and sold out, man. There's no way that you could be fumbling this right now. All right, no way. All right, there's definitely guys have definitely taken the bag, bro. All right, this is it. Beautiful times, man. All right, real quick, let's get was it Sirach, the 3rd chapter? Let me pull it up. This is I'm sorry, not Sirach. I put Ecclesiastes. Sirach, 3rd chapter. Is that what I'm looking for? Where's the Apocrypha at? Hold on. All right, let's see. Pull it up. Sirach 3. Okay. Here we go. Sirach 3 and where's Sirach, the 5th chapter? All right. I'm sorry. Sirach, let's go Sirach, 5th chapter. Man. Here we go. Again, Sirach 3, Sirach 5 and 7. It says, make no tearing to turn to the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, come forth, and in thy security thou should be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance, man. So hey, this is not the time to be tarrying, man. This is the time to turn back. This is the time to repent. This is the time to come underneath the Lord's hedge, man. Okay, all the signs and indicators are there that we're at the end. Okay, any day this thing can go down. They were talking about what's the devil? Klaus Schwab said 2026. They want to go ahead and start, putting this chip into people. So we're in those realms of the end, man, of these things happening. However it's going to go down, got to stop playing, man.
Subsidiary issue stablecoin, which will be interoperable, can work with a social credit system.
Stablecoins can be programmed exactly like how we fear CBDCs will be programmed. They're exactly the same tokenized mechanism. They can be smart contracts. They can be used to collateralize loans or mortgages. They can be backed by certain things. It can be taken out of your wallet. Your wallet can be blacklisted.
Back in 2016, he even raised concern about the lack of the gold standard.
Can you envision a scenario the country ever goes back to the gold standard?
Well, in some ways, I like the standard. There's something nice about the standard, and you have to go back at the right time, like when gold does the old crash show. But there's something very nice about having something solid. We used to have a very, very solid country because it was based on a gold standard.
But now Trump changed his tune when it comes to this bill, saying, get it to my desk ASAP. No delays, no add-ons. The Genius Act stablecoin is just one piece of a much larger digital control group. AI-run data centers, facial recognition tied to Real ID, constant location tracking, and behavioral scoring, just like Communist China's social credit system. According to Neil Kashkari, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis, SEC would let the government monitor every one of your transactions. I get why China would be interested. The American people before that. Well, the government would gain the unconstitutional power to seize your assets without trial, due process.
Yeah, that's it. Everything that we've been warning you Jakes about. All right. These are all components of the beast system. All right. One world government, one world religion, artificial intelligence, which we see has been continuously upgrading to new levels. AGI, super artificial intelligence, right? Digital currency, social credit scores, personalized QR codes for identification eventually leads to the mark of the beast. 15-minute cities, all right, which they're building those now, all right. A lot of those cities that had like natural disasters and that were set on fire, all right. Now they're building those 15-minute cities, okay. Food rationing, lab-grown babies, they're doing that now. I did lessons on that, how they're artificially making human beings, okay. They're making designer babies, man, okay. All this is going on now. Transhumanism, a system that leads to complete control of the masses. All right. No more denying it or ignoring it.
That's a direct violation of the Fourth Amendment, which protects against war and surveillance. It's not just about the murder. It's about the Genius Act isn't genius. It's actually dangerous. Could this be the very thing that leads to the beast? I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. Reporting for Lindell TV, I'm Allison Steinberg. Revelation.
Well done, Allison. You must have saw my report yesterday. Well done. Okay, so let's get to the administration's response. Is the Deputy Treasury Secretary saying it's a great day for the American people.
It's a great day for the American people. We are going to provide regulatory and legislative clarity to the use of coins for modernizing the payment system. As we new ways to use technology, we can more quickly, more cheaply, and more securely facilitate payment around the world. And so what this is going to do is it's going to even further cement the dollar as the world's reserve, because by making it easier for people trading internationally, for imports, for trade even domestically to take place through electronic means, through blockchain technology, by providing this legislative clarity for those trading in this space, they know the road, they know how to trade, and it'll bring faith to the American people on how to negotiate, how to make payments, how to utilize these new systems.
Okay, let's go to the president during the signing ceremony. I want to get to his before he. This is his statement about the central bank digital currency.
Digital currency. Also remain fully committed to my pledge never to allow the creation of a central bank currency in America. It won't happen. Thank you. And the other night, I will say, with some of the congressmen and women, they wanted that so badly. That was so important to them. I was impressed that the hell it was, to be honest with you. Please, sir, please, bank digital currency. Well, you have to make sure, sir. And I'm saying, what do you know about that? It's knowledge that people have gained all of a sudden. We had a lot of problems with some of them. I said, we've already got it from the Fed, right? From Commerce and from an executive order. You don't need it a fourth time. Sir, you have to get it. It's amazing. But they knew their subject, and we helped them out. My first office, I signed an executive order to ban the creation of a CBD in the United States, and very forward to signing legislation that will codify and ban make it a permanent law, put it in permanence. Also,
okay, so there you have President Trump saying that he is looking forward to signing his executive order into law. So that should give everybody a sigh of relief, but that still stop the infrastructure that has already been set in motion with the Genius Act. Continuing with...
It's all bullshit, man. Right? Psalms 55. Psalms 55 and 21, it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Right. So this guy is double tongued, man. All right. Saying one thing, but doing another. All right. Because everybody knows that Trump is a puppet for the elites. He has to do the bidding of the elites, man. All right. So all of this shit that he's talking, it's all smoke and mirrors, man. At the end of the day, the beast infrastructure is already set up. All right. The chip is already ready to go. Okay. Everything is being put in place. The Palantir, the global surveillance. All right. Digital IDs, social credit scores. All these different components of the beast are being set up now, man. There's no stopping this thing. All right. It says, verse 22, cast thy burdens upon the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. And the Lord is going to be with the elect during these trying times. Okay. It says, but thou, O power, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. There you go. So the elect are going to trust in Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. Right. Where we are entering into that straight gate, the time of Jacob's trouble. But like the scriptures say, he shall be saved out of it.
Some more President Trump's remarks. Here's actually David Sachs. David Sachs is the White House AI and crypto czar. Here's what he has to say. This is his remarks prior to the president signing it into law.
Accepted this job as crypto. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, President Trump. It's a great honor to be here. And it's true that I'd never expected to work in government at all. And then everything changed after President Trump came on my podcast. And I did this job as crypto czar because I thought it was a once in a lifetime opportunity to work for a president who really wants to get things done for the American people. And if anything, that's been an understatement. The first 6 months of this administration have been more successful than any administration in American history. What's been done? It's just been incredible. President Trump has worked at tech speed. We're used to working fast in Silicon Valley, but even this is fast for us in Silicon Valley, the at which you moved President Trump. It's really incredible. And now today, you have another historic legislative achievement that is a monumental step to fulfilling your promise to making the United States the crypto capital of the world.
All right. We have some more remarks from the president here. Recognizing the many industry leaders present, the crypto community for years, you were locked and dismissed. Here's President Trump lifting up the crypto community.
Let me say the entire crypto community for years, you were mocked and dismissed and counted out. You were counted out as little as a year and a half ago. But this signing is a massive validation. And even before this signing, over the last year and a half, I think your stuff has gone up more than any stock, or just about more. A couple of stocks that were pretty good, I will say. But you have certainly, as an industry, gone up more than anybody. Nobody's gained the respect in such a short period of time. But this signing is a massive validation of your hard work and your pioneering spirit and your ability to never give up, because a lot of people would have given up 2-3 years ago. So I want to thank you for contributing to the incredible strength of America. This is going to make it stronger, and congratulations on this incredible achievement. Let me say the entire...
And I think we actually have the moment he signed it into law. Maybe we don't, but he did nonetheless. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So let's be honest about what just happened. Yes, Trump blocked CBDCs for now. Okay. But what about a future administration? What about a future Congress? So Gensler's gone. Who replaced him? The Genius Act, though, creates a regulatory framework. Who writes those regulations? The same deep state that survives every administration. They're not giving us freedom. They're giving us permission. Permission that can be revoked, standards that can be changed, oversight that becomes overreach. Today's liberation is tomorrow's trap. Remember, the Federal Reserve started as a solution too. So did the income tax, just temporary, they said. Now they're protecting crypto by bringing it under federal control. See, the globalists don't need CBDCs when they can control stable coins through the back door. So is the Genius Act genuine freedom, or a Trojan horse for digital slavery? Let's continue the conversation in the comments. Give me a yes or a no. And remember, some things like our next news merch.
There you go. What more can we say to that, man? And remember, the prophets of Great Millstone warned you first, right? This is Sirach 39. In verse 1, it says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies," right? This is what we occupied in, the prophecies, man. All right? The testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy, man. Okay? So there you go, man. Right? It's all going down. Right? Chai-Sai stigma. All right? That stigma, tying it back into the branding, okay, the breaching under the skin, all right, the puncture mark, the charagma, okay, which is a sign of what? Ownership, okay, you being a slave, okay, that's what it's about, man. Let me pull the image back up, okay, because just like in the ancient Roman Empire, they branded their slaves. Well, now we're in a new modernized Rome, a new technological Rome. Okay, they're gonna brand the slaves through the chip. That's the goal. All right. So continue to be occupied in prophecy, man. All right, we're at the door of this thing. All right. Again, the vision is being made clear. We at the end. There's no denying it. And before the destruction comes, that chip has to come to pass, as Elder Apostle Gabar has stated. All right. So hey, we close as hell, man. And keep your faith alive, stay watchful, stay diligent, man. We almost out of here. So I pray that this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close it out by giving all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect. Hey, shalom.